So as for aql, then there are two arguments I want to quickly present, given by Imam Ahmad and then one by Ibn al-Qayyim. As for the argument of Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, this is in his book Ar-Raddu al-Jahmiyya wa Zanadiqa. So I'll read it out. So he says, when you wish, this is a statement of Imam Ahmad, when you wish to know that the Jahmi lies upon Allah when he claims that Allah is in every place and is not in one place exclusive to another, then say to him, so this is now an argument between a Sunni and a Jahmi. You say to this person, did not Allah exist whilst there was nothing? Did Allah exist when there was nothing? He will say yes. He has to say yes. Otherwise it's atheism. You can't say no. So when he says yes, he will say yes. Then say to him, when he created something, did he create it within himself or outside of himself? In other words, this creation, did he create it in his own essence or outside of his own essence? He will only proceed. He will only proceed to three answers. There are only three answers to this question. If he claims that Allah created the creation within himself, he has disbelieved for claiming that Allah created the jinn and the devils and Iblis within himself. This is kufr. So he cannot say that. And if he said he created them outside of himself and then entered into them, so then Allah entered into his creation, like for example, he's in every dirty, filthy place and so on and so forth, and in his creatures, this also is disbelief. That's a second possible answer. And the third possible answer, if he said he created them outside of himself and then did not enter into them, then he has recanted from his saying entirely, and this is the statement of Ahlul-Sunnah. Right, so this is a refutation of the Jahmiyyah who say Allah is in every place. And this leads us into the second argument, which is the argument also of Ibn al-Qayyim. And okay, if you want to follow through with this, we'll go through it inshallah. Okay, very quickly we'll go through it inshallah. So the Jahmi is asked a series of 5 questions. First question is, I'll quickly summarize it inshallah. First question is, you ask the Jahmi, does Allah exist outside of the mind? Yes or no? Meaning, is Allah just an idea in the mind, or does he actually exist outside of the mind? Right? Because there are two types of things. There are things which are ideas in the mind only. So, if I said, for example, love, or I said something which is only a meaning, that meaning, there's nothing out there. You can't see, for example, love walking down the street. Love is an idea, right? So there are some things which are ideas, and there are some things which are actual things in external reality, right? So something can exist in the mind, but it doesn't actually exist in external reality. So the first question you say to the Jahmi, does Allah exist outside of the mind? If he says no, he's a kafir. If he says yes, then we move to the next question. Is Allah's existence, is it the same as the creation or separate from the creation? Right? So is his existence, is it different to this creation? So if he says no, it's the same, he's a kafir. Because the creation and Allah are one. Right? So this is disbelief. If he says yes, it is separate, Allah's existence is separate to the creation, then you say, third question, okay, if Allah's existence is separate from the creation, does Allah indwell into the creation, or does the creation indwell into Allah? Meaning that, did Allah then come into any of his creation, like Isa alayhi salam, as the Christians say, or do the creatures indwell into Allah? And if he says either one of these two, yes, Allah entered his creation, or yes, his creation entered him, this now is disbelief. But if he says no, Allah didn't go into his creation and nor did his creation go into him, then we ask him the fourth question. Is Allah al-qa'imu bi nafsihi? Meaning, does Allah exist on his own? This word al-qa'imu bi nafsihi means something that is established by itself. Is he established of his own accord? Does he have his own independent existence? Is his existence sufficient for itself? And if he says, yes, he is, then he's asked the final question. To be honest, it gets a bit technical at the end, so I'm going to stop there. But this is enough for us to conclude that Allah is separate from His creation, that He's established by Himself, and in light of all of the other evidences that we've been looking at, it is clear that if His existence is separate from the creation, that He has to be above the creation. Right? Because only being above is it a praise. And in fact, this is the argument of Ibn Taymiyyah and others, where they said that if Allah was on a level with the creation or below the creation, then this would not be a praise of Allah. And so from the meanings of al-ulu, then it means He is above His creation. Right? Only this is a praise and nothing else would be a praise.